Real hot girl shit. And if the beat live, you know Lil Juke made it. Body yaddy 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 yaddy. Body yaddy 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 yaddy. Body crazy, curvy, wavy, big titties, little waist. Body crazy, curvy, wavy, big titties, little waist. Body yaddy 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 yaddy.
Welcome back to another episode of Pretty Plus Size and Powerful Podcast. We are on episode 70.
Because we thought somebody in their 60s said something.
Period. It has been a long week. If this is your first time joining us, thank you. Welcome to the family. Make sure you return. If this is not your first time and you have been listening to us for a long time, y'all know what it is. What up, people?
Mm-hmm.
In case you don't know the voice, it is me, Aziza, aka Zebo, aka the Human Universe, aka your favorite fat girl, and all the way across the country, I got my bestie with me. Introduce yourself.
Hey y'all, hey, it's your girl Ruthia, aka the spoiled one, aka the real one, aka the unbothered one, aka the curve queen on the runway.
And that's on period.
Period.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump right in. This week, the quote is a little different, and it's brought to you by me. Y'all know I do not be doing my homework, but I feel like I came through. It's actually from our friend Brandon Jordan. And I was going to do the thing that he always do in his video, but I opened up his book, and I just like the titles of his chapters. So I just want to read those, and I think they turn out to be a really good quote. So, no fear is unconquerable. Never stop, never give up. Work on you. Always follow through. Let your reflection cause reflection. And give what you know and know what you give. And I think if you take those things and kind of just incorporate them into your day-to-day life, I think that's a pretty good quote. I think it turned out to be a pretty good quote.
Yeah, I need you to run that back because I felt that in my spirit.
So, no fear is unconquerable. Never stop, never give up. Work on you. Always follow through. Let your reflection cause reflection. Give what you know and know what you give.
Mm.
Can we get some snaps? Do we got our buttons in here today or what?
Nope, no buttons. Tone over here messing up.
Well, listen, I got the sound effects for us right here.
You gotta do the oh.
But anywho, before we jump to the vibes, how has your week been? What's been going on?
My week been pretty smooth. I've been diving into my Bible and to my music, so everything that's been going on that could affect my mood, I just been letting it not affect my mood, basically. So
yeah, let me think. My week has been I think I'm in a buried period right now.
a what?
You know how you always talk about being buried down in the dirt?
Oh, that's what I thought you said. I had to make sure.
I think that's kind of where I am right now, and I think I'm okay with that because I know that there's growth, you know what I'm saying, and there's gonna be a time where I break back out and the sunlight will shine heavily. My sister came down from Charlotte for a day. We watched some old home videos, so that was pretty cool. And yeah, of course, just, you know, living this new life, being a caregiver for my mama. That's always and forever going to be a thing, and dealing with those daily challenges.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, other than that, yeah. It's so crazy how being a caregiver and being in a completely different state, like just simple stuff like, oh, I got out the house today, be a whole win. Like it'd be a whole win for the fucking day. Like, nigga, I was out for like 2 hours. Like my ass who can't sit down.
Right.
Just an accomplishment to get out the house is a thing. But anywho, yeah. You ready to keep it moving along?
Can we pull the gift up on that?
Yep.
so she can interact with us. There she go.
Hey.
Hey.
How you doing? How you doing? Is audio good on your end now? Can you hear us good?
It is. I had to switch from my laptop to my phone because I don't know, my laptop is acting a fool right now. So
Okay, well, hey, as long as you made it, period. That's it. We made it. So we are currently going into our vibes right now. But before we do that, we definitely want to let you go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, y'all out there. My name is Latasha Stevens, aka Tata Stylez. I am the owner of PretTee Stylez and PretTee Printez. So I'll dive into that a little later. Just introduce myself.
All right. So I'll go ahead and go first since I started to go into my vibe anyways. But this week, my vibe is getting out of my own way. I had to go back and realize, like, and I saw a status, you know, my whole life is about seeing a status and then relating it to myself, right? So I saw a status that said, where you are now is a culmination of everything that you've done up until this point, and where you're going to be in the future is a culmination of everything you're going to do up until then, right? And I had to realize, like, from being a little girl, being a smart little girl, and having all of these expectations put on me to always be great and things like that, it kind of, like, at first I was meeting those standards, and then the pressure kind of got to be too much at one point. And so I started to go in a shell. And because I was smart, I could kind of just skate by with doing the bare minimum. And I realized that a lot of the time, when it comes to me personally, I don't break out of that. I get by doing the bare minimum. And I'm like, Aziza, you need to get back to that little girl that you were, that little girl that always strived to do the best, and then really look at where it's gonna put me in my life. Because like to brag on myself, because we don't do that enough. Like, I'm smart as shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I work hard as ever. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a great friend. I'm a great daughter. You know what I'm saying? I'm a great sister. Like, I'm a dope ass person, and I have to believe that shit for myself, and believing that I need my actions to reflect that. So that's my vibe, getting out of my own way.
That's so real. I'm so glad you mentioned that, because I remember when I wrote a blog post and it was called Pressures of the Pretty. And, you know, like, you growing up, you know, everybody had all these expectations on me into what they, you know, their definition of what beauty and pretty is. So I felt like I kind of had to, like, keep up with that. You know, a lot of people say, oh, you got long hair, you mixed. I didn't know what I was mixed with. I mean, I didn't know what to do with my hair, but it was just like, as you grow up in society, it's kind of like, man, like, I gotta keep up with how these chicks, how they out here, how they rocking this, or how they looking. And, you know, I had to, like, look at myself like, look, you appreciate all the aspects that make you who you are. Exactly. And you don't worry about everybody else. Don't let it go right and how everybody else looking or how everybody else is perceived. You accept you for you, and you know, don't worry about, like, all these, like, expectations people may have on you. And I had to really, like, realize that and say, you know, like you said, I'm a dope ass in the and I'm gonna embrace that regardless of if you think it's wrong or not. You know, it's who I am, and this is how I'm coming.
Facts. I like that. So my vibe actually came from a post this week as well. Hashtag personal growth. It says, don't play with my growth. I don't care how I used to be or how I used to act, even if it was just a week ago. I wake up a better woman every day, thinking different and wanting better. And I'll continue to pray myself into the woman I want to be.
Come on.
That's a word, honey.
Listen, it's a personal growth for me.
Oh, word.
Yeah, I love it. I think for me, since we chiming in on the whole vibe situation, I think for me, like something that's been really heavy on my heart and just been like my driving force is, and this is an affirmation I say every day, you are responsible for your own happiness. And, you know, I've gone through a lot, you know, with some things that I've dealt with. And I can honestly say, like, that is so real. I have been on my whole self-love journey, and it has been such an amazing experience to really just kind of like reflect on just me and really loving on me and taking myself out to eat and taking, you know, doing like the little things is really what matter. And it just made me feel good inside to know, like, you know, I don't have to depend on anybody to make me feel special, to make me feel like, you know, I'm worthy, you know. And I say my affirmations every single day because that's important. And I've just been vibing with, you know, self-love, getting back to me, getting back to fulfilling my goals. And yeah, like that's just what I've really been like catering to, makes me happy.
I love it.
Snaps.
Listen, you know, I'm always coming with the snaps. I think that's a good, you know, a good segue to go ahead and jump right in. Ruthia, I know this was your invite, so I'm gonna let you go ahead and take the reins, and I'll just kind of jump in with any questions that may come up for me.
So basically, I really wanted to just reach out to you because your whole energy and how you promote yourself on social media is so P3, is so much of what we already are doing. And of course, we always want to grab another woman and lift her up and expose her and give her another platform to be able to show our audience how we can all come together as Black women, as well as, I believe we went to high school together, but our high school was so
familiar, honey.
Yes.
I was like, I know we're, you know, Milwaukee stand up, but
right.
I it was her face. I remember a face, but the name, but I'm like, she looks so familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we did go to school together.
That's what, and that was my whole thing. Like, I know this chick from somewhere, but either way, she dope, and we finna know each other now. So definitely wanted to bring you on to make sure that we are giving you the exposure that you deserve, because like I said, everything that you are about is everything that is P3. So we want to just go ahead and jump in. You talked about your business, and I just want you to kind of dive more into what your business is and how you got into that role as well.
Okay. So back in 2016, I started my blog, Confessions of a Pretty Girl. Much just like an outlet for me to just share some of my testimonies, some of the things that I go through, you know, as a woman, some stereotypes, some, you know, misconceptions about me. And I shared that through my blog. I also shared like fashion tips and like inspirational things, but it was also a platform to allow other women to share their innermost, you know, secrets and the things that they've gone through and just empower other women. It motivated me to, you know, start my business, PretTee Stylez, because I wanted to have apparel that reflect, you know, who we are and who we represent as women. So I started PretTee Stylez, started as a drop shipping company. So pretty much I was making designs, inspirational design. I wanted to have like t-shirts and inspirational designs that really, you know, touch to our inner beauty. So I have sayings like pretty with a purpose, pretty and educated, pretty girls praise God. So I was going through like third-party companies that would make my t-shirts and send it out. And then I thought about it. I'm like, you know, I want to be more involved. I want to be able to do more. So that's what inspired me to start making my own t-shirts. So I started my business, Pretty Prints. So where I was basically creating, doing my own design, doing my own t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, t-shirt, and I self-taught myself how to do it. So I was doing everything in-house, creating my designs and, you know, shipping everything out. And I always focus on positive, empowering design. So things that would, you know, we can just be a walking our confidence without saying a word. So one of the designs, minding my Black owned business. Like this month, I've done a lot of like cultural designs that really like hit home. That's where we can, we can represent in style. So I started Printez. Then I really wanted to like find a way to help other people, because I know like when I created collection and design, like it's something that reflects on like my life. Like a lot of the designs that I was creating kind of reflected on like things that I went through in my life and overcame. So I wanted to help other people either, start a business by creating their own collections, or, just doing something, just stepping out on faith and just doing something different. So I started basically helping other people start their own t-shirt line, and from A to Z. So helping them with the designs, coming up with the sayings, providing them the inventory, shipping their inventory out, helping them with their logos, helping them with business cards, just pretty much everything. And I love what I do, because it's exciting for me for someone to come and say, I want to start a business. I want to step out there. I want to create t-shirts that, a lot of people, they'll create a t-shirt line based on the business they already have, or just starting a whole new business where, it's a different focus. So I love that. So I'm pretty much like a one-stop shop, graphic designer, t-shirt slayer. And, I'm eventually going to get into the boutique side of my business. Actually have a boutique back in Milwaukee, Tati's Boutique. So I'm kind of bringing that back, having women's apparel, So yeah, so I'm excited about that, and that's pretty much everything in a nutshell.
So we had a question pop up on the screen, and I know the answer to this, but I'm gonna let you answer. Is the shirt you're wearing your design?
Yes. So this is one of the designs that I promote. Now, Black women are dope. A lot of people have, designs on that, with that saying. But I think this one, I just brought it into my collection because it's something that, it represents who I am personally, because I'm proud to wear this. But I just think that it resonates with a lot of women that I encounter, a lot of my mother, the people that I'm inspired by, that I look to, my role models, people that I surround myself with. It resonated with me, and I kind of put my own little twist on it.
Something related to my computer.
Yep. Purchase on my website, and I have it in different colors, and I customize it.
The only thing we need to do is
I'm sorry, give me 1 second. Ruthia, can you tell Tone that he is on the podcast loud as ever?
He can hear you.
I can hear you. I was not on purpose.
Yeah, but when, I'm sorry, when you talk, it kind of it throws her mic in and out.
My bad. I'm gone.
So I have a question for you, just based on what you said. Do you consider that you have like a community mindset? Like, you're from Milwaukee, correct?
I am. Mm-hmm.
Do you still live in Milwaukee?
I live in Atlanta right now.
Hey, girl, we around the corner.
You live in Atlanta, honey? Come on, girl. When we going to brunch?
Y'all about me. Y'all better FaceTime me.
I just moved down here probably about 3 weeks ago. Yep.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about, girl.
But so a lot of times in Milwaukee, we always hear about how business owners and just Black people, period, have like this crab in a barrel mindset, and how when one of us starts to crawl out of that barrel, you know what I'm saying, we always drag each other down. And I'm really starting to get to a point where I want to start to change that narrative, because I think the more we keep speaking to it and giving power to it, the more it's gonna, you know what I'm saying, stay the truth.
Yes.
So how do you balance, or how do you maintain a community mindset where okay, you are willing to teach somebody the business from A to Z, but without giving your gift away for free? Because I know a lot, I mean, we as business people, we still, I do want to give back, but at the same time, I still need to maintain my business as well.
Exactly. So, that's a really good question because this year for me, I really been thinking a lot about that and how I can connect with people from my hometown. And I actually have been connecting with some people back home that have a business and working on collaborations with them to a Milwaukee to Atlanta type of vibe. Like because I want to be able to, that's my hometown. My family, most of my family still lives there. But I also want to find different ways that I can connect and help, the people from my hometown in a sense, whether it's virtually, whether it's me coming back in town. So I've actually, I can't speak on too much of it right now, but I've collaborated with a few people who got some dope brands and businesses in Milwaukee. And so we're working on a few things that I really feel like is going to make a big impact and inspire a lot of people. Like I don't mind giving out free nuggets and of just wisdom or anything that I've gone through or business wise, but I am planning to work on a few things where I'm coming back to my hometown, showing some love, and also connecting with some business owners so that we can collaborate and just give back in a way. So I'm super excited about that.
Dope. So to kind of piggyback off of Z's question, a lot of people that live here in Milwaukee feel like that they get their biggest support from people outside of either their hometown or from outside of the people that they expect to support them. A lot of us expecting our friends and our families to support us, but it's usually the stranger that is supporting us the most. Did you have any experience with that, and how did you deal with that?
Yes, absolutely. So I remember when I started my back home, I had gotten a lot of support from, to be honest, I got a lot of support from friends and people from my hometown. But when I did leave, you know what, let me just back up. I've gotten that a little bit, but honestly, even now, I get a lot of support from people from my hometown as far as just like, purchasing products for me, sharing my content, tapping into some things that I'm involved in. But I do get a lot of people that like I don't know that reach out to me and are my biggest supporters. Like I have some friends, obviously, that'll support me, but there are more people that never met and that just know me on social media that has supported me in so many different ways than compared. But I don't know. I guess I don't really focus in on that. Like, okay, who supported me, whether it's my, my friends or whoever, because my mindset is, I just want to be able to, if I can impact and reach one person, then that means the most to me, whether it's my friend, my family, someone that I don't know. Like there's always somebody that's out there watching you, supporting you, and ready to support you with whatever you have. So I try not to focus on like the negative of like the people that aren't supporting me, and just focus on the 1 or 2, 3, 4, 50, 100 people that are showing me love, whether I know them or not. And like I'm learning to not have so many expectations on people, because it's like, okay, well, I expect my sisters and my brothers and my homegirls to buy, to always buy a shirt from me. But honestly, you never know somebody's situation. So I try to like look at it like, whoever, I don't care if I know you or not, I'm very appreciative of any type of support that I get. So I had to change and shift my mindset of not having expectations on people, no matter who they are, and just continue to, propel in my business, and, the people will come regardless.
Yes. So you mentioned self-love, you mentioned impact. just as far as being able to touch other people.
Yes.
What would you say are the core values and the mission of your business?
I would say the core values and the mission, I would say is inspiration, self-reflection, and like you said, self-love. Like I just feel like products and apparel, because everyone is always, besides the fact that, outside of just helping other people fulfill their vision of, their collection and their business. But just for me personally, I just feel like a lot of the things that I put out there is like, some people don't have the confidence to really, speak what's on their heart or what represents who they are. But you can wear a sweatshirt that says, enough about who you are and what you represent without having to say anything, and I wanted to be able to build the confidence in a woman to wear something to say Black women are dope. Like for me, I walk with my head held high, honey, like I'm dope, like for real. And you put that with a cute lip and a hat, honey, it's like, this is me and this is how I'm coming. And this is what I represent. Because it's not just about me wearing a forest green sweatshirt, but I'm going to wear a forest green sweatshirt with Black women are dope on it because that's just who I am. And when the next woman that see me, she going to look at it and be like, you know what? I'm dope too. Like I am dope. So it's almost like a walking affirmation. You can be walking down the street, somebody see you with, pretty with a purpose, and it make them think like, wow, like I do have a purpose on this earth. Like that's what inspired me to really like want to move in that direction with just inspirational designs, because you never know like what day somebody may be having and they see your shirt, they just see you in the audience or they see you walking down the street, and that really can resonate with somebody. So I think for me it's just to just allow people to it just resonate. It's like messages that resonate with anybody in whatever situation they going through and kind of uplift them. It's like for me, like I'm all about uplifting and empowering. So that's like motivating. This type is.
So where does your confidence come from? That's something we kind of ask most of our people that come on, but where does your confidence come from? And who are the people that influence you to let you know that you are pretty with a purpose?
Oh, you know what? My confidence, I don't like, honestly, my confidence just came from like, ever since, I don't know, like since I was little, I knew that I was always different and unique. Like I knew like I had all of these different talents and that I was different from other people. And I just kind of like embraced that. Like I have my moments where I be very introverted and, not, and be shy. I remember growing up, like I remember I would be so shy, but then it's like when other people see like how great I am or how, they'll compliment me or they'll say, wow, that's dope. Even when I don't think that it was like anything, people be gassing me. I'm like, okay. But I don't know. Like, I think for me, it's like with me knowing like my potential and my gifts and how good I am in something. It's like I walk in that and I embrace that, and I'm not afraid to share that with other people, regardless of what people may think or say about me. And I think for me, like fashion and style is really how I really like express myself. And that's why I got into, this business of, doing affirmation and inspirational teas, is because it's just like I wear my confidence. Because I am confident. And it just come from just me embracing like my gifts and who I am. And I know, like, as far as people that like, who's always been like my inspiration was, I was a part of an organization called Pearls for Teen Girls. And, they would just, like, when I was that shy little girl, they brought that out of me. Like, I started doing speaking engagements at 13, 14. I started being in the forefront, when I didn't even know that I had that much in me, but they brought it out of me. And that's what helped build my confidence, with just being able to speak to people, being able to, just share my testimony, because that was what a lot of what I did. I would share the stories of what I've gone through, and I was always transparent about it. And it just kind of just like really brought that shell out of me, and that fear out of me of people judging me or how they may look at me. And I just kind of just walked in my truths. And that's just how I've always just lived and went about things, and just walking in my truth, embracing my gifts, knowing that I'm the shit. Excuse my language. But there's nothing wrong with that, and I think we need more of that. And that's why, like, doing this, having business is just like, look, hello, my name is, without even having to say anything. So that's where that comes from for me.
Yeah. You said something that I really, really love. And I think even, I think a lot of times we forget that part of confidence, right? So we try to get people to, we try to get them to the point of embracing. And I mean, we as a society, right? Because we're on this movement of confidence, whether it's related to who you are or what you look like or whatever. And we always our goal is to get people to embrace it, which is the first step. It is the first step it's important. You know what I'm saying? We have to build up, each other so that we have that confidence in who we are. But then you said to express your confidence. And the way you express your confidence is through your style. And then that in turn moves you to impact other women. And I think that the expressing of the confidence is the next step that we all as women have to move to together. Because if I'm confident to myself, but then I have no outlet,
right?
You know what I'm saying? I have no outlet to show that confidence. Then it's like, well, shit, I'm still stuck where I'm at though. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
I'm confident and maybe unhappy, or I'm confident and I don't know. It's just, I just want to point that out, that I love the expressing your confidence, whether it's in your writing, whether you start to sing, you know what I'm saying? Whether it is fashion, whether you decide to write a journal. Yeah. I mean, I love that. I really just love that.
Piggyback off of that, I think that's why it's so important to really tap into your gifts and know that you're, what you're good at, and what that you really can, and you really enjoy doing this thing without, like, you can do it without even having to get paid. Like, it comes natural for you. And I think that's when it comes with like self-love. You have to really take time to like get to know yourself. Like, really, really take the time. Like, don't let, like, it doesn't matter what anybody else say or their opinion, but you have to believe that. You have to know that, okay, I know I can style. I know I can dress. I know I can really go in the store and pick something out and it just looks bomb. You have to know, like, I know that I can do that. Like, nobody needs to tell me that. Like, I know that I can do that. So you have to walk in that confidence and knowing, like, okay, this is the outlet that I want to propel and express my confidence in. It ain't about being cocky. It's about knowing who you are and, inspiring somebody else to bring that gift and their confidence out as well.
Yeah. Ruthie, you want to read that comment? My blonde, even with my glasses on, it's
It says, I was in Atlanta last week, and it was so dope to see so many Black independent businesses. Platforms of Atlanta has widely been recognized as super supportive when it comes to Black entrepreneurs. Have you found that to be the case since you've been there?
Yes, absolutely. I have, oh my gosh. I mean, since the beginning, I've been in Atlanta for a little over 7 years now. And since the beginning, it was just like amazing. I first started with getting into like the acting lane. So I was on set of different movies and films and TV shows, and just the people that I've met along the way, like it's just amazing. Like you never know who you may bump into and what they have going on, because they're always inviting you out, like, hey, come out to my poetry slam. Or there's people like you can be in a room, a restaurant, or at the bar or whatever, and you can literally be sitting next to someone that has so much going on, and they're so willing and open to just say, hey, like, I'm having a pop-up shop. Do you want to, have a table? You want to bend? I'm having this event. Do you want to be a speaker? I've gotten so many of those opportunities from people that I've literally met within 5 minutes. And it's like that everywhere here. Like, I can definitely say that it is like the Black melting pot for entrepreneurs to really grow their business and connect with other people that have similar businesses that want to work with you. Like, it's not, I think with here, people are like, it's enough money out there, and it is a lot of people that are doing the same thing or similar things, but you can't be afraid of that, because people, there are people that want to help you. Like I said, there's enough money out there for everybody, and people really want to see you win. Like, people want to see you win. They want to see you grow. They want to see you get ahead. And, it's all about who you know. Like, I know that's like cliche. People say that, but it's so real. Like, I've learned that a lot here. It's about who you know, because you never know who you can hit up and you may need, and you can say, hey, like, don't you have this studio? Well, I need this. It's all about bartering. It's not about like what you can get out of somebody or what they can get out of you, but it's like, okay, how can I help you, and how can you help me? So and I love that about Atlanta.
So statistics say that with the pandemic, a lot of what they call small Black businesses here at P3, we say it's all big business energy, was kind of going under. But then as well with the Black Lives Matter movement, that so many more Black people are more encouraged to support Black people. How has the pandemic or the Black Lives Matter affected your business?
To be honest, my business has been booming throughout the pandemic. I think for me, at least, because right now, I, work out of my home. So I have my setup in my home, and most of the things I ship out. So like for me, I do a lot of things on my computer virtually. So that really hasn't affected my business. I think now, like a lot of people, because of, quarantining and in the pandemic, they're like tapping into their creativity. They're not like moving around doing so much this and that. So they're like, you know what, I want to start a t-shirt line. So I have helped at least 10 businesses, 10 people jumpstart their t-shirt line during this pandemic. Because they want to do something fun. They want to do something creative. They want to be able to, even if they're in the house wearing a t-shirt and they want to be able to sell it, just ship it out. You don't have to be physical anywhere at a store, but you can just ship it out. And I think with the whole Black Lives Matter movement, that has really like affected my business in a positive way, because like I said, I'm all about the culture, and I represent, that was one of the, with everything going on, that's what inspired me to do some of the designs that I was able to create and sell on my site, because it's like we really are dope. Like, we really are a movement, and the things that we're going through, we're going to overcome them. And if we stick together, we stick together and we come together. So it all goes back to, that impact and inspiring and just motivating people. Like, you know what, like, we're going to get dope. We're not going to let this, hinder us. We're gonna come together and we're gonna shine.
Z, you got a question?
Yeah.
I knew you had when I see it on your face.
So, with a lot of people moving into entrepreneurship, can you share, like, I don't mean like share with your, but like share what it's like for you being an entrepreneur. Like, what is your day-to-day operations like? I mean, because I think we got this glamorized ideal of what being an entrepreneur means. So can you share some of the ups and downs that you've encountered being an entrepreneur, and how long have you been doing? You said 2016, correct?
Yeah, so 2016, that's when I started my blog, and then probably the following year in 2017 is when I started my t-shirt business, PretTee Stylez. So for me, as far as like with the ups and downs, it's definitely not always ups. You definitely have your moments, and I remember I was just reflecting on this very thing is, since the beginning, like, you're not gonna always have sales. You're not gonna always have, money coming. You may have some good days, you may have some bad days, and I don't even call them bad days, but you may have some high moments and some low moments. But I think a lot of times that discourages entrepreneurs when they look at the money part of their business and as far as the success of their business. They equate the money to the success of the business, especially during your first year. They say you don't make no money in your first year.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, not everybody can, not everybody, has to say that. But for me, like, I didn't make any money in my first year, but that didn't like, I didn't stop. I didn't quit from that. And I think a lot of people, they get discouraged when that happens, when things aren't perfect and things that they don't go their way. And I feel like for me, that just makes me go even harder. Like, I'm always learning. I'm always trying to find a way to evolve my business. And for me, like, I guess, like, the money definitely eventually came, but I guess for me, I evaluated my success is by, if I'm able to impact and inspire one person, if one person buying my sweatshirt today and they are inspired and they can walk in confidence, then to me, that's success. Like, I just feel like, you can't be discouraged and stop. You have to always constantly promote your business. Mm-hmm. It's one person that likes your post or 1,000 people that likes your post. You have to constantly stay consistent. Like, that's one of the biggest things is consistency. I didn't always have, the biggest support on a post, or, I may think I'm doing something and post something like that. I'm like, I know I'm gonna get a lot of sales and I only get one sale. But
mm-hmm.
that don't stop me from, doing what I was called to do, in my business, because I believe in my business, and I know that it is going to impact people. Like, yes, the money is going to come. And I always will have that mindset, like, the money is going to come. This is what I enjoy doing, and you have to stay consistent in that. Yes, I've had my moments where I took a break, 4, 5, 6 months, where I didn't post anything about my business because I felt that discouraged. But then you have to, you can have your moments, but don't stay in them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Keep going. You have to believe in yourself. You have to learn from other people that's doing what you're doing. Don't be afraid of that. We don't know everything. Everything is not perfect. And I think a lot of people too steer away from, asking for help. I've taken business seminars, and I've watched people that's doing what I'm doing. And, I've used some of their tricks and how they, operate, and plug them into my business and made it my own. So you have to always be willing to grow and learn in business as an entrepreneur, and stay consistent and not get discouraged when, you may not be making that much money in the day, but you have your moments, but it's all about consistency.
Yeah. So I want to talk about your blog for a moment. The Pressures of a Pretty Girl. First of all, that is a dope title. But let's jump into that and how that came about and what you are doing with your blog.
Yeah, so my blog is Confessions of a Pretty Girl. And I ain't gonna lie, y'all, I have not been consistent with my blog. I have kind of like it's kind of like it kind of died down a little bit. And once my business started picking up, I kind of I wouldn't say let it go, but it's in my back pocket. but it's always in my heart, and I know that, you know, I'm gonna, once I have that you know, fuel to that flame to pick it back up, I will. But the Pressures of a Pretty was one of my blog posts, and it was just basically, I just, you know, started ranting and venting about just the things that I was going through, especially dealing with like relationships with men, just how, you know, I remember, you know, I would have guys say like, oh, you know, you too pretty to not, you know, that like you too pretty to be living in the hood. Like, I've had somebody say that to me, like I grew up on 19 in Capitol and 22nd in Melvina. Like, you know, like it was always this stigma on like beauty and relating it to just like how much money you got, or if you were there from a spoon, or if you know, it was just a lot, you know. And then with me, you know, when people say, oh, you're too pretty, or you shouldn't be wearing that, or you too pretty to be hanging around those type of people. And it's just like it just got to a point where it's just like, why does beauty, in the way that how you perceive beauty, I should be doing certain things that basically represents like who I am? Like, no, like, okay, so because your definition of beauty or pretty, I should be driving a certain type of car, or living a certain type of lifestyle, or dating a certain type of guy, or hanging around a certain type of people. And it was just like, when that didn't measure up to what people, you know, their definition of it, they're like, girl, like, what are you doing? And I've always been just a free-spirited, open person. Like, if I feel like you dope, we vibing. Like, I don't look at how, you know, someone looks to, you know, and hanging with them. Like, that's just, I just don't think like that. Like, I don't evaluate being pretty as, you know, the physical attributes of somebody. To me, my definition of pretty is, you know, how pretty your soul is. Like, how you are on the inside, how you reflect, you know, like how your personality, what are your values, you know. Like, I don't just look at beauty it's skin deep, you know. I don't look at beauty as just like the outer part of who we are, you know. I look at the individual for who they are and what they have to offer, and that's just always been my mindset. And I think people just never understood that. They like, dog, like, do you know what you can do, like what you can get away with, you know, how you can. And I'm just like, I've never had that type of mindset. It almost got to the point where I started to believe it. Like, dang, you know, maybe I could, you know, start getting, like, really getting what I want, using my beauty to get what I want, you know, out of men, out of just anything. But it's just like, when I try to do stuff like that, it don't feel right for me. Like, it just don't resonate for me. Like, I'm just the type of person, like, I move a little different, you know. I don't, like I said, like, I don't look at the way, you know, I don't think about the way that I look as a way to just like get over on people or manipulate people, because I that's just not my type. I don't roll like that. I never did. But so people just would like, it would mind boggle them, like, just the people I would hang around or how I move, and it's just like, it's deeper than the outer beauty, honey. It's deeper than
Mm-hmm.
That's just so relatable because I think we all have those experiences where people tell you that, oh, you're too pretty for this, or you're pretty, so you should be able to do that. When people ask me what I do for work, and I'm like, oh, I'm a forklift operator. And they be like, wait, you drive a forklift? Like, no, you too cute for that. You need to be in a bank, or you need to be doing this. It's kind of like, do you know where the money resides though? Like, I'm gonna get this bag. I work third shift and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. I never consider myself to be plus size. People used to be like, oh, you pretty for a big girl. Like, wait, I'm big? Like, wait a minute. I just thought I was just cute, period. Okay. But so many people put labels on what we are or what we should be based off of what they think about us. Like, you wouldn't know anything about my story unless you actually took the time to get to know me. So I might look this way, but what do I feel like is what's more important. And I know, Z, you can attest to that. Like, so many people have said so many things like, well, you too strong to be this, or you too pretty to be single, or you too pretty to be doing this. It's like the nerve, the audacity. Right. So, yeah, it's definitely relatable.
Yes.
How and I mean, this is for just the sake of conversation. How important is it to remain, or how do you remain? Because I know it's important. How do you remain true to who you are while still providing a product and running a business? Yeah. How does that work?
How do I remain true to who I am? You know what? Honestly, I have to, for me, I have to remain grounded in the word and in God's purpose over my life. Like, I am, it's, spiritual. I have a great relationship. Like, I'm building my relationship with God, but you have to remain humble. You have to know, like, where you came from and how far you came. Like, this just didn't happen overnight. I've grown in so many different situations. And I just feel like when you really remind yourself of where you came from, how you got it out the mud, how you overcame obstacles, how, God had to, put you in certain situations and for it to strengthen you and for you to grow out of those situations. I think that is just really important when it just comes to just how I create my products and how I deliver it, because it's just like, this is truly something that I enjoy and something that I'm passionate about. And I always try to, connect and communicate and involve, people that ask them questions like, so what do y'all want? What do y'all want to see? What resonates with you? What inspirational quote or message that you want to, see on product? So I have to always make sure that, I'm reminding myself of how far I've came and to continue to keep going and continue to pressing through my business, but also making sure that I'm connecting with the people, like really connecting with them, like things that resonate with them, products that resonate with them, but also getting them involved and motivated to start their own business. Like, it's not just about you spending your money with me, but it's about, okay, how can I help you, make some money for yourself? How can I help you, inspire other people? Like, let's keep that ladder and that chain going.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm giving them snaps in the background, Z.
What about you, Ruthia? How do you remain true to who you are?
I think that's a loaded question for me, only because I'm reintroducing myself to myself. And that's because, if anybody that's listening, if you're always here with us, and you know that I've been on a self-care and a self-love journey for the last year now, almost 2 years. And I am learning who I am. I'm learning what makes me happy, and I'm not trying to please other people. So I think just being able to focus in on me and learning that no is a complete sentence, knowing when I need to stop, knowing when I need to just hone in and be like, you know what they're saying, and not being offensive, being easily offended, should I say,
Yes.
to what everybody is saying. Somebody might say something to me and be like, oh no, that's wrong, but not everybody is here to harm me. And I have to be steady, ready to go to my prayer closet and be able to say, okay, God, help me through this, versus being ready to attack. So that's what's keeping me humble and making me want to do better and inspire more. I'm so much more happier now that I've taken off the layers and decided to love me for me and not wanting to please the people that's around me. If I'm happy, then they should be happy if they are meant to be in my circle.
Yeah, I love.
Go ahead, Z, answer your own question.
I was trying to avoid it. Like, you see me look down. For me, I've always I think now more than ever, maybe over the last couple of years, I've been able to actually show people who I am. And been okay with that. I think for so very long, I lacked the confidence to show people how dope I am. And I think the more I get comfortable with who I am and my capabilities and, you know what I'm saying, like the way that I love people, the more I get comfortable with that, the more open I can be, right? But I'm also, I understand that who I am is not the same person all the time. Like, I'm almost on like a wavelength of you know, of who I am. Like, sometimes I'm up a little bit, sometimes I'm down. It's always like, I guess if you think of it like math, when you average it out, I'm usually the same, but you get different versions of me, right? And not to say that because I'm not a code switcher, right? And if you are, that's completely fine. I'm not that person, but I think my level of comfort with people and like the vibe that I get from people kind of determines my openness with you, right?
Yeah.
If I and Ruthia can tell anybody, my close friends can tell anybody, like, if I really fuck with you, I'm gonna push you so far beyond your limit.
It's called bullying.
They call it bullying. But you get, like, it's just because I'm genuinely like, if my people win, like, I feel like I'm winning.
Yeah.
And not that, well, when they win, they gonna get some money and I'm gonna get some money. But it's like, nah, if we all elevating, then, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're all working towards our happiness. And I think for me, I'm that person. Like, I think something
like, you know, being that accountability partner for yourself and for other people. That's dope.
Yeah. So I mean, that's pretty much, that's who I am. That's how I remain true to who I am. The more I can give, the more I can love outwardly, and then that helps me to continue to love who I am. So, yeah.
I love it.
I think like the energy in this interview is super, super dope. When I first met Z, we was actually doing, I think we was in rehearsals because it was after the auditions for a fashion show, and her energy in the room was just like, oh, I need to be a part of that. And it wasn't even like, oh, I need to take from her, but it was like, I need some of that energy to resonate on me. And it was the same thing with you. It was just like seeing your posts all the time, and just your energy from that was just like, I need to bring her a part of the team. I need to be able to have other women see who she is, because it's one thing for me to see somebody else's Kate and be like, oh, that's a super dope woman. But for them to see it for themselves and then to be able to show other people, I think is what's like super dope about this platform, is that we are able to tell you that you have a cape. Make sure that you notice it of your own, and then let other people see it as well.
Yes, and I appreciate that. I really do. I think that, everything happens for a reason. God has been showing out lately, especially just some things that I have gone through and just coming out of. So I really appreciate you, Queens. I really do appreciate it. And I want, I hope that anything that I've said resonated with anybody out there, and then we can, keep it going, keep the chain going, connecting, inspiring each other, and just, allowing each other to build each other up on a platform.
Definitely.
All right. Do you have, do you want to share your social medias and even business pages and things like that, so that people who want to find you, people who want to purchase, people who want to learn from you, how can they keep up with you?
Yes, absolutely. So my business page is shop for Instagram, shop_Pretty Stylez with a Z on the end of Stylez. Also my Facebook page is Pretty Stylez, and my website is www.prettystylez.com. As far as my personal page, because I'm always posting on my personal page, just lifestyle, Tata Stylez, TATASTYLEZ, on Instagram, Facebook, Latasha Tata Right.
Dope.
All right, Ruthia, where can the people find you at? We got to start giving out our own personal information too.
Well, unfortunately, I'm still off of Facebook right now. I'm still filtering and trying to get back to me. So I am currently just on IG at thereal1_P3. And I'm trying to get some more content, y'all, because I just be getting off work and I be being lazy. But I'm trying to get better with the content on there. But mostly just more my modeling and my inspiration on there.
Okay, and for me, I am Aziza Courtney on Facebook. And then I have a backup page, Aziza J. Courtney, for when Facebook kicked me off my main page. Because I be cussing a lot. So since they cracking down on cursing, I got to keep a backup. And then on the rest of social medias, I am Zebo_P3. So that's Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, and Snapchat. Now, I ain't gonna say that I am good at social media, so you might go to one of those pages and you ain't gonna see nothing on it for a while, but I'm trying to get better with Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok for sure. So follow me on all of the things, and while you're at it, follow us on all of the things.
Yeah.
Pretty Plus Size and Powerful on Facebook. We also have a group, Pretty Plus Size and Powerful, with group at the end. Our Instagram is at Pretty Plus Power. And if you want to skip all of that and just go straight to our website, you can go to www.prettypluspower.com. All right. So
y'all shop our brand as well, because we got some pretty dope t-shirts. Listen, I keep trying to surprise Ziza, but I'm just gonna have to go ahead and just tell her I'm ordering our own shirts as a gift. The Don't Hide That Fupa, Divide That Fupa t-shirts.
Yes.
We're gonna be sending one of those.
That is super cute.
all right, so we are gonna begin to close out the show. So y'all know what time it is. It's time for a segment we like to call Don't Let This Fluffy Shit Fool You. You want to go first? You want me to go first with you?
I'll go first because mine is super, super simple. Like I said, I've been kind of making sure I'm not letting nobody interrupt my mood, but the people I work with are still lazy. White people are still white people and I mean, that's just basically it. But I definitely want to bring some light to the fact that everybody is making a joke about what's happening around the world. As far as like even with Texas, people are making light of the situation, and it's not funny. People are really in distress down there. And I'm not just saying that because I know people that live in Texas, but everybody from Milwaukee want to run to Texas. Remember where y'all came from? We was just crying like a couple days ago. So let's not remember that we are still here and we are all still human, because just as well as they got it, we can get it 10 times worse. So let's remember that people are people. Wear your mask, slick your edges, wear a condom, you know.
I'm only laughing at that last part, but it's so crazy because that's my fluffy shit too. People who are teasing Texans, like, again, like, what's the point of the hate? You get what I'm saying? Like, do you know how gigantic the world is? Why would I want to stay in one place my entire life when I can experience multiple different things? Like, I'm down here in Georgia now, but that don't mean that this is my forever destination. You get what I'm saying? Like, we have to get out of this, I don't know, is it jealousy? Is it envy? Is it hate? Whatever it is, but to laugh at people because their power is out. You know what I'm saying? Now the water is contaminated. They can't even drink the water. They can't bathe in the water. Can't wash their faces in the water. You know what I'm saying?
It's not like adults.
Like, people are freezing to death without power, without heat. And because they from Milwaukee, or, you know what I'm saying, from a colder climate, they supposed to just be able to survive. Like, do y'all do realize that we survive up here because the heat and the power works in the middle of a 10-inch snowstorm? We can go in the house. You know what I'm saying? We have a city Milwaukee is a city that has snow plows. They can come and clear and salt the streets as slow as they do it, but still they have the infrastructure to take care of all of that stuff. And like, people are really mad because, like, and we really teasing people for living, you know what I'm saying, in these areas that are like not prepared for that type of weather, because they rarely, if ever, experience it.
Listen, I feel like if you didn't have the funds to move out of the city, just say that. Like, you ain't had the money, period. It's just that simple.
And you know what? It kind of remind me. Oops, sorry, y'all. I don't know what just happened.
We can still hear you.
Okay. So it kind of remind me when I first moved out here in December of 2013, and Atlanta had like this snow, like, I don't know, it was like a little snowstorm. It was a little snow, but the city was not prepared. When I say, I literally left out the house and there were so many cars on the side of the roads, on the highways. Like, people were on the highway in traffic for 16 hours. And like, people from Milwaukee like hitting me up, like laughing, like, y'all tripping. It's only 1 inch of snow. Y'all don't know what and I'm just like, I was confused too, because, but then, you know, with people I was talking to the people that live there, they're like, Atlanta doesn't have the type of equipment in the roads for snow in that type of weather. So it was just crazy because people were literally like leaving their cars. It was almost like, it was like a scene out of The Walking Dead or something. Like, there were just abandoned cars just everywhere. And it was just like, wow, like, it really make you think, like, yes, I'm from Wisconsin. We used to this 12 inches of snow, nothing shutting down, but the whole city shuts down in that type of stuff. And it's just like, you can't just judge based off of where you're living at, especially in Milwaukee. You know, they laugh like, oh, you only got 2-3 inches. But like, these cities they're not, in the South especially, we're not used to that. Like, they don't have the type of equipment. They don't have the salt for the roads, you know. Like, this is really serious. Like, these are people's lives. Like, I had to check on some of my friends that live in Texas, like, yo, you know, like, I don't take that lightly at all. So I agree with y'all. You know, people just need to empathize with people as a whole, like, and not just go based off like your perception of like, oh, they tripping or like laughing. Like, no, because when it happens to them, when it really hits home, it'll be a whole nother story.
Definitely. So do you
So
have
go
your own
ahead.
personal-ish that you want to vent on?
Ooh. I just kind of want to vent on like just not letting, well, you know what? Let me say this. When people like judge you for like your downfalls or like things that you've gone through and they laugh at you and act like, like it can't happen to them. And
Mm-hmm.
like, like for me, like little do you know, honey, that is a blessing in disguise that like this is a victory for me. Like people have their perceptions, or they assume, or they it's kind of like they want to see you going through it, like they want to see you doing bad, like they can't wait to laugh in your face to say like, oh, she thinks she perfect, but look, she going through this. And it's just like, honey, listen, this is building me up, this is building my character.
Right.
Like, don't ever. Okay, I don't know what's going on with my hat. I don't give auntie vibes. Like that just kind of like it. I don't know. They kind of just like hit me like, hold on, like don't think this is don't think it's over. Don't think it's over for me. Like, and I'm just speaking on just some things that I personally going through, but like I'm in the best place in my life that I've ever been, and I mean like mentally and spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel like when people like to judge you, or they just judge your situation, or think that what you're going through is a downfall for you, but really it's really just a blessing for you. So I just just like to encourage anybody, like regardless of what you go through, like don't let anybody try to down you or make you feel less than, or make you feel like your situation is going to break you or it's over for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell anybody, like, look, you got to rise above that. You can't worry about what anybody is saying to you, or how they perceive you, or how they try to, like down you for what you're going through, and let it be your testimony.
Definitely. So we don't got the button today because Tom be messing up, but don't let this fluffy shit fool you, pretty much.
I love that.
All right. So y'all know we got to go ahead and turn it around. We cannot leave y'all on a down note. We got to make it positive. Our Keeping It Cute this week is brought to you by the Spoiled One. Ruthie, go ahead and take it away.
So this week's Keeping It Cute. 17-year-old Skylar creates a device that detects infections. Deasia Taylor is a senior at Iowa City West High School. In her first science research opportunity, Taylor developed sutures that will change the color of a patient's pH level. That will change if the color of a patient's pH level alters, making it much easier to indicate infection.
Come on.
17.
Come on.
Black girl magic has no limits. I'm like super, super excited, and shout out to her. She finna change the game. Do you hear me? It took them how long to figure out how to give vaccines for COVID? Like, she's 17. Tap into her.
Right. Right. I love that. I love that a lot. Wow.
That's so dope.
That's going to help so much.
Yes. I feel like, I don't know if y'all feel it or not, but I feel like we are really getting like put on the forefront with just Black people in general, like the things that we are accomplishing, just creating Black history, just like all over again. Like I love to see it. Like I love when we're getting that recognition. We're getting our power back. We're like, it's beautiful to see. It really is, and to be a part of that.
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. All right, y'all know what time it is. Go to the mirror, say exactly what it is that you need to say to yourself to get you through the week. It's time for the I am statement. And this week I am betting on me.
Okay. This week I am deserving.
This week, I am responsible for my own happiness, and that's on period.
Oh. All right, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of the Pretty Plus Size and Powerful podcast. Thank you so much, Miss Tata Stylez, for dropping the gems on us, sharing all of your knowledge.
For having me.
Definitely.
We will see y'all next week. This has been episode 70. Bye.
Whatever you do, sis, keep it cute, sis. Leave that beef and shit on roof, Chris will end up toothless. I've been a fish for my whole life. I bought burners, I ain't buy lights.